Hey, good morning, everybody. It's Chief Meteorologist Brad Panovich here. We've got a cloudy, cool day on tap today, but what we're looking at going into the weekend is a pretty significant warm up and a small risk for severe storms. So let's talk about this risk as we get closer to Saturday. Here's the wide view. I put the satellite on here, so I'm using a satellite imagery that allow us to see these low clouds, the fog this morning. Look at all the low clouds over us right now, and temperatures have basically not been moving much. In fact, if we look at the temperatures right now across most of the area, the temperatures are in the 30s and 40s with cloud covers. I'm recording this around 10:30 in the morning. So it's a really chilly, raw day. But what's heading our way over the next 24 hours is this system right here. You can see it back here to the west. This is going to be moving off to the east, and this is going to produce some strong and possibly severe storms off to our west that eventually could move into the Carolinas. So let's take a look at the severe weather risk and the setup as this heads our way. So we'll start with day one, the convective outlook we call it, or severe thunderstorm risk. You don't see anything on here. So let's go to day two, which is going to be Friday, and immediately you see what's going on to our west. We've got this risk for severe storms, the low risk right here. This is the medium risk, and we've got this little narrow corridor of high risk for severe weather here from basically western parts of Kentucky, southern Indiana, into the Greenville, Mississippi area. And again, this is primarily going to be damaging winds, but there is a tornado probability here. I'm going to show you that probability. That's a 15% chance. So 10% chance right here in the middle. So that's a pretty high probability for a winter event to our west. So that's for Friday. So as this moves east, we're potentially going to have some strong storms move into the Carolinas, but the risk goes down a little bit. There's some uncertainty going into Saturday, and I do think there's going to be a split in the energy. I actually think some more energy will be down here, and then up here you're probably looking at straight line wind damage. The risk overall in the Carolinas is primarily straight line winds. You can never have a 0% chance of a tornado in this case, but it's probably less than 1%. I really do think this is going to be a straight line wind setup. So let me show you Futurecast as this approaches. All right, so let's talk about Futurecast here. So we'll start today, and again, there could be some mist or drizzle with some of this stuff moving through, but I'm not anticipating a whole lot of anything. We'll go through time. We're going to go into tomorrow morning. Stop this in the morning. We're likely going to have some light scattered showers around. I don't think it's going to be really heavy, but this will just be scattered showers with the cloud cover. What we're really watching is this thing back to the west. How is this thing right here going to unfold and then move in our direction? So that's what we're watching. You know, how is that going to unfold as it pushes to the east? So I'm going to go through tomorrow. We'll go into the afternoon hours and into tomorrow night. What's interesting about tomorrow, Friday, is that the severe weather doesn't really crank up much, at least on some of the short-range guidance. It looks like in here, you know, we've got a little bit of severe weather popping here and maybe up in here, but this is where that medium to high risk is. What's interesting is we go towards Saturday morning. You know, this is 8 a.m. Saturday morning. The line starts to get a more vigorous. So Saturday morning, the storms are pretty strong back to the west. And then we go into the afternoon hours. Here it is, 1:50 p.m. On Saturday. The front is still way off to the west, but we've probably got pretty strong southerly winds cranking in some warmer air here. But here's our line of storm still back to the west. And notice the time up here, 1:50. In the afternoon. So we go through time, we get towards the evening, we start losing the heating of the day. So I don't anticipate this being a huge severe weather event because of that timing. And also, when you look at the parameters, one thing we have is really strong wind shear, which is the wind changing direction with height. So from the upper levels, the winds are coming from the west here. These are the upper levels. And then low levels are here. We've got a southerly wind. So that's a lot of shear. But what we don't have is a lot of warmth or humidity, what we call CAPE or thunderstorm fuel. So as this pushes through, I do anticipate it's going to be fairly weak. But the timing, if you're planning for your Saturday outing, look at the timing here. 1:50, it's entering the mountains. By 4, 5, 6 o'clock, it's crossing the Piedmont. That's kind of the area we're watching. And just to kind of show you, this is that energy helicity index we look at, you know, called updraft helicity. If you look across the Carolinas, there's just not a lot there. So it's not a huge, what I would call, severe weather setup, but it's something to keep an eye on in the afternoon. I really think the worst weather from this system is going to end up being over here in Tennessee. So again, real quickly, that severe weather outlook on Saturday is right there. You kind of get the idea as this front moves through. The area in yellow will be the area we'll watch for a strong gusty wind or two, wind event or two, maybe 30, 40, 50 mile an hour winds, gusting to 58, 60 miles an hour possible. So again, not a huge risk, but something I'll be keeping an eye on over the next 24 hours. Just stay weather aware just in case things change, but the worst weather looks like it's going to stay to our west. We can use the rain, we just don't want to see the severe weather risk.